What's up, baseball glove buddies? Dave Wagner, Wagner Baseball Glove Repair, and today I want to talk to you about wrist straps. Ooh, pretty sexy. I know. They are usually the bane of our existences because it's hard to get that thing just where we want it. Almost always, the proper fit is between one of the pairs of holes that they provide, and it's maddening. And then sometimes you want to put holes up here because it doesn't fit right. You want to make it tighter. It looks weird. How to escape this problem? Well, I figured out a solution, but I didn't really figure it out. I reapplied a solution I'd seen somewhere else. And let's look at that first. So, here we have a Wilson A2000 SR32 Sierra Romano Game Spec Fast Pitch 12-inch glove for 12-inch fast pitch. Usually used in the middle infield. And lo and behold, on every 2019 and 20 Wilson A2000 fast pitch glove, this started showing up. You say it looks the same as the other ones. It may look the same, but it's not. If you notice here, there are not 4 holes outside the wrist strap, but 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to use wristband for this, wrist strap for that, and so I can try and keep this somewhat comprehensible. So on the wrist strap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice that the 5 and 6 are underneath the welt. Okay. How does this work? Well, Rawlings was in the Rawlings for the last few years in their Liberty Advance and their Heart of the Hide models was coming out with this double pull tab system kind of thing that they were using on their basically their fast pitch gloves. And so Wilson said, what if we could just make the same idea but do it with lace? And they did. So here's how one of these is laced. Lace enters through the strap into the band, entering here, travels through the band to here, coming up. Here it is, jumping across the top of the strap. Now here's the key. Look underneath. If you look underneath, you should see, I'm sorry if this is in the way, right in here, you'll see that the strap, the lace comes up, down, and then it pivots the other side underneath, okay? This is the interesting part, right? This is not normally where you'd find the pivot point. But it pivots here, pops up, jumps down to the other side right there, and then comes back out that hole. So now if you caught what's going on there, this is an infinitely variable custom wrist arrangement, because depending on how tight you set this square knot, whether you set it here or here or here, you can do whatever you want. You can either make the glove fit very wide, and it can go wider still, or you can crank it down for a very narrow wrist. You see how that's tighter than any other 4-hole wrist strap arrangement on the market? Well, I kind of saw that, and I saw it a year ago, but never really thought about it. And I realized, wait a minute, I have a smaller wrist and not a huge hand for a guy who's 6'1". So what if I tried this on regular fielder's gloves? Why wouldn't it work? And of course, because it's me and I'm always cutting holes and trying to do things differently, I started trying it. And I realized that it was like the best modification for fitting a glove I had ever seen. So I'm not taking credit for it. I may popularize it in some ways as a modification, but this is where I got it from, okay? So I call it a slip wrist. If there's a name in the book, I don't know what it is. We can call it that too. So slip wrist, here's where I have used it, okay? It works on any glove, and I'm gonna do 2 for you right in front of you so you see how to do it yourselves. So here's my Academa ADV 33 outfielder's glove. And it has, boom, a slip wrist on it. Count the holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This pair of holes is under the welt. Sometimes they do it over the welt, sometimes under, usually under. Okay. If you have 4 holes back here, the key is to leave the holes closest to the pinky empty, because you want those holes to be kind of extra custom slide room, okay? I'll show you when I have a glove apart. But there it is on my outfielder's glove. Here it is on my first baseman. This is an A2016-17 12.5-inch kind of that triple bar thing, or yeah, horizontal bar thing. And there you see it again. This time it's super skin. Well, Dave, what are you talking about? Super skin, you're not supposed to drill holes through. Yes, that's true if it's just straight super skin, like up in here. But in this section of the glove, there's actually leather behind it, and so you can actually do it and it won't tear out. So that's kind of interesting. But there you see a slip wrist. Why is this awesome? This is a 12.5-inch first baseman's mitt, and I have a tiny wrist. I can easily handle this size glove, but I can't if I can't get the wrist tight enough. Okay, so for me, you can look how far I slid it down there, and I can do it even tighter if I wanted. I can just pull this square nut, and it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. You see that? All right, or I can loosen it, make it bigger, bigger, bigger. Because some guys will say, I can't get this glove big enough to play. And other guys say, I can't get it small enough to fit my kid. Or when you're breaking a glove for your kid, here's the classic. Kid can't close it, needs it really small. Dad will help, but dad needs it big. That's the answer. Just tighten or loosen this knot, and you have it big to small, small to big, and you never have to relace the whole system. That's the nice thing. So yeah, you got to initially do it, but after that, it's super flexible. It works everywhere. First baseman's mitt. 1786 is plain old infielder's mitt. See, same style. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same thing. You can make it tight or loose. Okay, but this is why I was most excited about it, because there's one glove that is arguably the most, you have to have it fit correctly around the wrist, but it's super frustrating to work with when you're trying to tighten it, and that's catcher's mitts, right? So I just kept thinking and thinking and trying different variations of this because there are different holes, and I came up with this. So normally this is a slip wrist on a catcher's mitt, but it's got a couple tricks you have to add. First trick is this. Normally on a catcher's mitt you'll have just 2 ends and 1 square knot. But because the pivot on a slip wrist is always up under here, like I've shown you, you're going to have a knot here that can't go across. Okay, this is the best way I could think of doing it. You could put this could be a square knot or 2 overhand knots. You can put it here, you could put it on this side, it doesn't matter. But what you have to do is anchor this side down. So this arrangement sees, this is pretty simple. So one lace goes down, and you follow the normal pattern, pops up, down, and instead of going this way like it normally would, you just send it down and back out. Square knot, overhand knot. You could also put the, I think you can all, yeah. You can also do it and have the knot in here if you wanted to. But this is enormous because I have, again, that small wrist. So this is a DPCM. This is one of mine, okay? So it's got the new aluminum toe and all the other nice stuff in it. But man, oh man, I can get that wrist just where I want it now. I can get it about, I don't know, what is that? Quarter? No, not even. Quarter of an inch tighter than I could before. And that was what I really needed, that extra little bit. And I could make it tighter than that if I wanted. This thing would still slide down more if I needed it. But this gives you an infinitely variable, customized fit. Okay? At the cost of 2 holes. Not too bad. This can really help with a glove that you're kind of trying to hand down. It doesn't fit the little kid's wrist, but the rest of the glove he likes. Now, I don't always say you don't always want a little kid using a big glove, but if that's kind of what you're stuck with, this can help. But I'm going to show you how to do it with 2 gloves that I have in front of me, so nobody's like, oh, he never shows us how to do any of these things. So here you go. DP15, right? I did it up 3 weeks ago before I had done enough of these slip wrists myself, so it doesn't have one. It has your standard XXX, drop down knuckle loop, cinch tight loop, no palm adhesive, slits the heel felt, the whole 9 yards. It's absolutely ready to play right now. Okay, this is the one that's on, these are for sale at Play It Again Sports. But it doesn't have a slip wrist, so how do you add a slip wrist to the glove you already have? Here you go. So you're going to take out the laces. I have a couple of laces ready for this. And pulling it out's not so hard, right? So that's that. All right, so now if you look, most wrist bands, this is the band, have 6 or 8 holes, usually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what I was saying before, and I couldn't show you, was that in order to give yourself maximum shrinkability, I don't know if that's a word, you're going to want to use, instead of putting the first lace down through here, hole number 1, and pulling it out hole number 3, hole number 2, pull out hole number 4, down through hole number 6, in through 5, out through 7. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got it? I'm going to show you. So here we go. I need to put the holes in. That's another question. Dave, you always talk about punching holes in things. I can't get a hole punch in there. That's because I never have used a hole punch in my entire life. It's a waste of time. I came from working on Goldie equipment where you don't use hole punches. You melt holes and other things. So, secret's out. This is what I use for everything to make holes. It is the Dremel 117, and it's called a high-speed cutting thing. It's kind of like a cone with the top rounded out. One of these, for all the work I do, will last 4 or 5 months. Okay, pretty durable. They're not expensive. You can get a pair of these for like $8 on Amazon. Okay, that's the bit I use. I don't care what rotary tool you use. This is a Dremel Multi-Pro, not a really expensive one, like 50 bucks, 2 speeds. And then you know how to obviously change out your tips, but you're not going to need to here. Notice how this one's in my Dremel already, because I use it all the time. This is how I make all these holes in my glove a 1/16 of an inch bigger without losing my mind. That, I just open them up. This is what you use to make a hole. Now, I'm pretty good at freehanding these. Famous last words, I'm going to muff it on a video, right? But you can do a few things. You can either mark a hole, you can also take a small Phillips screwdriver, or I don't know where mine is right now, of course. You can use an awl, AWL as well, and you can make a guide hole right here. But I'm of course wing this on camera and ruin this glove. And you're going through both layers. See how this hole goes through both layers? See, the holes are all the way through. This pair of holes has to do the same thing. So, you check it both directions. Now, this tip will heat up a lot, and depending on how much oil is in that leather, it may heat up too quickly and not get a full opening. So, a little bit of water cools the tip off. Okay, so that is 6 holes. I'm trying to just show a white background. I don't know, that should probably work. Okay, 6 holes. Now, to lace this, grab your lace. You're gonna need, for one of the slippers, you need more lace. This is 16 inches. You probably don't need that much, but it happens to be a scrap I have laying around right now. So I'm gonna redress this tip here. Another thing, you're gonna watch how I lace my needles. I have no idea what, some other guys use some weird techniques. You see me draw through my teeth. I'm just trying to press the lace so it smushes out so it fits in here. I don't use, Dan Davis likes to use a drill to tighten it. I use my fingertips. I tried the drill. It seemed like a lot of extra work and it didn't do anything for me, but so in we go, right? We'll start on the bottom so that I described it that way before. In through hole 2, out through hole 4, right? Skin side down, flesh side up, right? There we go, up through here, right? Down, across, okay? So there's the down, but I haven't pulled it up again, so you can go step by step. Up. Remember, keep the flesh side up as you're moving up on these. Down, and then, hard to see it, but I'm gonna go 5 and 7 on the way back. And I'm gonna look at the holes before I try and pull this through like a sucker. Ah, okay. So there it is through holes 5 and 7. And flush side up, right? So there it is, kind of loosey-goosey. Now, the tension, however tight I want this. However tight I want it. So this would be fully tightened as much as possible. And look at how tight that got. That got tighter than the closest set of holes, didn't it? Right? And then, I'm going to cut that tip off. If I want to loosen it, I pull it back this way. Here's a classic, well, Dave, how do I equilibrate these? Well, first of all, you look up equilibrate, because I don't know what it means either. Then, you just use whatever you'd use to tighten. I usually use a hook pick to pull things. So, since you know the pattern, I want to get some of this over to here, pull it out, and then what's your pull system, right? You're going to go there, right? See, it's going shorter, up, and switch around on the bottom, pull straight through to the end, and they're mostly even now. But there you go, that's how you do it. And then you can tie your knot wherever you want. Oh, I made a mistake. Made a mistake on camera. Oh no. What am I gonna do? Just in case. When I pulled this back through, I didn't go through holes 5 and 7. I went through 4 and 8. That's why it didn't look right. So here I am going through holes 5 and 7, not 6 and 8. And now it'll work, right? There we go. All right. And now I'm gonna because I have it correct now. I'm gonna pull this out, all right, a little bit. And there we go, we're even Steven. It'll get loose or tighter all together. Whatever the tension you want, or the setting you want, just tie a square knot or 2 overhand knots, depends on what you want. And so I'll do that really quick. Left over right, right over left. The secret to a square knot, right? So there's your square knot. And then you can make this tighter or looser as you see fit. But that's how you do one of these from scratch. I'm gonna do another one. This one kind of botched it, and I wanted to show off. So another 1786. This one's got the mid knuckle tension adjust. This one's also for sale at our local plate again. Again, cut out the old one. All right, and then new holes. Water. All right, there's your 6 holes, 5 and 6. You see them on the inside, 5 and 6. I've done a few, so that's why I can kind of whip through the hole locations a little quick. And then there you go. My brass needles are from these might be from Tanner's. I think they are from Tanner's, just brass threaded. I've been using these for like 15 years. They don't last for 15 years, but I've been using them for that long. Again, here we go in flush side up, holes number 4 and 6. All right, up to the top, cross, underneath, and on top again, right? Cross. This is your other X. So there's your second X, and then using holes 5 and 7, there's 5, there's 7, and then back out hole number 6 down here. Bingo, bango, bongo. And I was smarter on this one. I gave myself some more slack. So now I just have to cut it and tie it. The other one I kind of jammed myself up by making it too tight initially. So there you have a full slip wrist installation Oh, that's 2 minutes maybe, so it's not long. It's okay if these are long. If you want to make this thing looser fit, you might want to give yourself a little bit of length on these, okay? But you can make it as tight or loose as you want. Notice that this is similar to the tightest setting right here. This is actually tighter than the tightest setting. So you can really get it nice and snug or make it nice and loose. Now, hopefully you can take that and you can pretty much retrofit that to any glove that has this similar style wrist strap and band system, and almost all of them do. But man, it saves a lot of time, especially if you're using that glove and your kid's using the glove and you got to switch from back and forth. Just untie the knot, adjust, tie it again, and the other person can use it. I mean, it takes about a minute to untie that knot. It's easy. So depending on your fingering and your glove, two in the pinky, you may want this tight, loose, but it's infinitely customizable. You have a huge range, almost 1.5 inches of slide now, instead of one little hole at a time. Super simple. It's all borrowed again from this Wilson A2000 SR32. It's just a copy, a slip wrist, why it solves a lot of the fit problems that you face. And then if you've got a better way to do the catcher's mitt one, or any of these, let me know. But I tied that like a weirdo. But so there's the slip wrist on a catcher's mitt. Remember, holes below the welt there. And the other side is anchored in place. So hopefully it gives you some ideas. It has been a revelation as far as mitts for me. So I hope that's, it's pretty thorough, but I hope that's given you some good ideas. You can do this yourself. Dremel tool, 117. You saw how long it took me. It wasn't that long. You may want to try on just putting holes in some pieces of leather. Get the feel for it. Get the feel for if and when you need to cool the tip off in the water. If I'm doing an entire glove, I might only use the water 2 or 3 times, but because I'm going through 2 layers at once in this section, it heated up really quick. So, I don't know. And how about this? Have a Merry Christmas, because today is Christmas. Ah! Anyway, Dave Wagner, Wagner Baseball Glove Repair, and I'm sick of you guys.